Okay, so today I'm going to talk about something that comes up a lot when you're talking about working with multiple cameras, especially something like shooting a wedding. You got a second shooter, somebody else using a different camera than you, and you realize after the fact that maybe the camera times weren't synced up. And all the photos that you took throughout the event are out of order and jumbled around, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. Or maybe they're all mixed together and you want to select some and edit them because the color is a little bit different from camera to camera. That happens all the time, especially across multiple brands. If somebody's shooting with Nikon and another person is shooting with Canon, for instance. So we're going to dive into that real quick, and I'll show you in Lightroom how you can figure all that out and sort things and make those adjustments, even reset the time to a different time if you need to do it. Let's go. So in Lightroom, after you import photos, and I just did a real quick, simple little test between using my 5D Mark III and my EOS R. And these are just crummy photos of some Lego models and a little model airplane that I have on top of a desk. They're not in focus, they're blurry, whatever. That's not the point. I just want to show you how to adjust these things as far as the time and different cameras and everything else. So in the library module, you want to be in the grid view. So that's down here. You select that and it will show you all of the images as thumbnails. Hopefully that makes hopefully that makes relative sense. Hopefully you're with me so far. So I've got up here the filter and metadata. God, I hate saying that. Metadata library filter. If you don't have that, hit Control or Command on a Mac, F, and that will bring up this window. And the cool thing about this is you can filter by all these things. So text, if you apply, information in the keywords and or the name of the shoot, you can search for that in the text. Attributes are things like if you tag a photo with a color or the flag rating, you can sort there. If you're using multiple cameras, if you click on this metadata tab, camera shows up here, lens will show up. So if you happen to be using the same camera, but one of you is using a 70-200 and the other one's using a 50mm prime, you can sort by the lens. That'll help you pick between those different cameras. Now, if you happen to be using the exact same camera and the exact same lens, you're probably going to want to come down over here in this list and see if there's anything that will help you sort those out. About the only other thing that I could think would be probably the ISO. Maybe somebody was shooting on the 50mm prime with a wider open aperture, so their ISO can be lower, and the other person might be a little bit higher. That's going to be a bit challenging. So hopefully, if you run into that situation, you figure it out before you import everything and get past that. Because, anyway, what we've got here is I can pick just the photos that were shot with my EOS R or just the photos with the 5D. And you can go through and, okay, that's great. I'm going to right click on that and set color label to yellow, for instance. In this view, the grid view in the library, if you have all of these selected and you set a color label, it will change all of them to that color. Just showing you that to make it a little easier to identify in the film strip. If you have all these mixed together, and I'll show you how to adjust this here in a little bit for the timestamps. That helps you identify more quickly which ones are which, and you can then just use the filters down here when you're in develop to be able to pick, okay, I want just the photos that are shot with whichever camera this was, 5D Mark III, I believe. So there's that. Now, If you look, the timestamps on these two cameras are about an hour apart. So this one was 4:36 and 57 seconds. This one is 3:37. So I need to adjust one or the other of them to put them in sync as far as the times when these photos were actually shot. Now, to do that, you can select all of them, go to Metadata, Edit Capture Time, and here's where things are a little bit tricky, but you have the option to adjust to a specified date and time, shift by a set number of hours, which is the easiest one if your cameras are a certain exact number of hours apart, like somebody forgot to adjust for daylight savings time, for instance, or change to file creation date for each image. I typically only use the first two. In this instance, because they are an hour apart, I'm going to use this one and just say, okay, this one was 4:46, 4:47, whatever. I'm just going to subtract an hour to make it match up with the 3:46 time that was in the other ones. Change all, and now they've reversed, and apparently there's a few minutes difference, so they still show out of order or show that they're not mixed together like I was hoping they would be. I'm not exactly sure what that minute difference is, so let's see if we can figure this out. Capture time 3:37:41. This is 3:39:02. So if I change this one, say 2 minutes, let's try that. And this is where I'm going to show you what the other one does. Metadata. Edit capture time, adjust to a specified date and time. So instead of 3:37:41, I want to set this to 39:41. That's all I'm going to change. And now, change all. You can see it moved all of those images back by 2 minutes. And now you have them in the correct order of when I actually shot them. Okay? So now if you go over to your develop module, and this is set to, and this is where I was saying before, view, I think you said, yeah, view, sort, capture time. Now that we have all that corrected, if you sort it by capture time in the develop module, everything is in the correct time order versus when I first imported them and all of the 5D photos were at the end because they were showing at an hour and 2 minutes later. All right. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have questions, and we'll see you around. Welcome to Photographer's Lair. Just got to throw that in there, whatever. Hey, say hi. Say hi. There's nobody there. Say hi.
Dad!
What?
Dad!
What? This is what happens at home.